We've been talking about Deion Sanders a lot today. One, the success and the turnaround in Colorado. And then two, I don't know if you saw it, but Jay Norvell at Colorado State, they're playing this week.
I saw it.
Yeah, took a shot at him, mentioned the glasses and the hat. What did you think of that? Is that just good old fun to stir up the rivalry? Is there something deeper there with Norvell being kind of judgy?
I don't think it's anything deeper. I just think that with Deion Sanders and his approach and him having more of that player type of mindset. And when you think about coaching in college football, or just in the NFL for that matter, you think of coaches to be more presidential, more buttoned up, more conservative. Well, Deion Sanders isn't any of that. He's authentic. Yeah. And I think that rubs a lot of people the wrong way, because a lot of people feel that coaches are supposed to act a certain way. And if they don't act that certain way, well, then that's just not the way we do things. And because Deion Sanders brings a different approach, I think it rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, well, the guys who act a certain way, I'm kind of done with them. I don't buy into it with everyone, because we know a lot of them preach one thing and then do another, and we could go down the laundry list of whatever, Art Briles and Joe Paterno and other guys who turn out to be complete phonies who put football first over everything else in their community. So I'm on board with Deion. I didn't think this would work, but he's killing it. And I was joking earlier, I don't know, when it's cold out in Colorado and they're still running out to whatever, 5-3, 6-2, and he wants to wear a full-length mink, go ahead and do it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Right now, like I said, they're 2-0. They're rolling. I think they're picked to as far as victors on Saturday. I think they're picked to win by 21, 22 points.
Higher than that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's all the way up to 23.5, 24.
Yeah, so, I think it's pretty safe to say that they're going to be 3-0 after this weekend. And, I think that how they play in the Pac-12, how they play against Utah, USC, Washington, that's going to tell the entire story about their season that they're going to have.
All right, what'd you like most about the Raiders' victory over the Broncos?
I would probably just say the fact that they won. Obviously, you saw a big stop that they were able to make after Jimmy G was able to go ahead and lead them down for a score for I forget the receiver's name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Them being able to get off the field and put the ball back into Jimmy G's hands and essentially just go ahead and run the clock out. Jimmy G picked up that big first down to go ahead and seal the victory. So I would probably just say the defense making a big stand, which obviously is something that we've seen in years past where the defense was the Achilles heel. Well, this time they came up big, made a big stop, and that helped the victory. So I'd probably say that probably to me was the brightest spot or what I liked most within the victory.
I mean, we got to see more of this, more consistency, closing out games. And 2 years ago, they were really clutch down the stretch. Last year was one of the big struggles, halftime leads. They blew a bunch of them. But I liked what I saw from Garoppolo and kind of doing stuff that you don't expect. I mean, running on a 3rd and 7 and getting 2 yards past the first down marker, that was awesome. He was on the money and super efficient on that final scoring drive, going 4 or 5 for like 70 yards. So first time seeing Jimmy G in action. You got to respect what he did. Hopefully he can stay upright and maybe they can have a good season.
Yeah, that's really what it's going to come down to. Is Jimmy G going to be healthy? Is he going to be available? I think he's going to be able to mesh well with Josh McDaniels, obviously with their New England connection. It's just going to come down to Jimmy G being healthy. We all know that that's been his Achilles heel throughout his career, not being able to stay healthy. So a lot of Raider Nation is just waiting to see when is the other shoe going to drop. When are we going to all of a sudden see Jimmy G fall to the ground and being tackled and not get back up quickly? And that's when everybody's going to go ahead and just hold their breath. I think that if that is able to not happen this year, I think the Raiders can have a pretty good year. I don't think that they're going to wind up in the AFC title game or anything like that, but I could see the Raiders being somewhere in that 9, 10, maybe even 11 win range, maybe.
How did Josh Jacobs look to you? Because I know when a guy's holding out, it's going to be that, is he going to be ready for that first game of the season?
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, he's fine. Obviously, Denver, they're not a bad team on the defense side of the ball. They got a good defense being led by Vance Joseph. So I'm not going to draw any inferences or cast any aspersions on anything like that after the first game. He didn't show up until after the preseason was already over with, as he should have. Even though, like I said, he can only sign a 1-year franchise tender after that July 17th deadline passes. So it's going to take him some time to probably go and get his feet up under him. Everybody understands that. I think that it may be a stretch to expect him to have yard for yard the same production that he did last year. But as far as his effectiveness, as far as his explosion, I don't think that there's going to be any issue as far as any carryover from last year for him.
So I thought the defense played well. Wilson was accurate, efficient. It wasn't like he killed him from a yardage standpoint in the first half, and then they absolutely snuffed him out. It is interesting to me, and again, it's just one game, but looking at PFF numbers, Pro Football Focus, 4 of the top 7 guys are essentially defensive backs / hybrid safeties, because I'm going to call Devon Diablo still a safety hybrid linebacker, but between Diablo, Hobbs, Marcus Epps, and then Trevon Merrick, those guys played really well. And listen, in the end, Crosby's the guy, but if the backbone of the defense can be that many guys, athletic defensive backs, do they have a chance to be at least in the middle of the league defensively?
I think they could be in the middle of the league defensively. I think that probably would be their ceiling as far as probably middle of the league. But I think that in this game, you can win a couple of ways. You can simply have a lot of dudes out there that are just balling and have a very simple scheme. You can have a more complex scheme and lean on that to confuse the quarterback. Everybody being in the right position, putting guys in position to be successful, whereas simply putting them in areas where they're not strong at, where they're not good at, where it doesn't personify their skill set and things like that. And then you have also what's more like the blend. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and lean on our pass rush. And that right there is going to make our back end elite because they won't have to cover for a lot of time. You're going to see errant throws. You're going to see tip passes that wind up being turnovers and things like that. There's multiple ways to be successful on the defense side of the ball. And I think the Raiders, they're able to fall into one of those categories. Maybe not the first one I just named with having the dudes, but simply having the right scheme, calling the right plays, the timely blitzes, having the pass rush get to the quarterback up front. I do think that they can be successful to a certain degree, like you just said, being middle of the pack. And if they're middle of the pack with the level of offensive firepower that they have, I think the Raiders can be in the 10-11 win range.
Wow.
You mentioned the pass rush there. What did you think of Tyree Wilson's, first game, first round pick? I know he was getting killed on social media, but I didn't think he was that bad.
Listen, when you're taking number 7 overall, everybody's expecting you to turn in a Pro Bowl level year as a rookie. Maybe not go to the Pro Bowl, but play on a Pro Bowl level. And also, Tyree Wilson, along with any other highly drafted defensive lineman or defensive end for the Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to be fighting against the same rookie year that Max Crosby had. Max Crosby had 10 sacks as a rookie, and he was only a 4th rounder. And if Max Crosby had been a higher drafted player, he would have gone to the Pro Bowl as a rookie. Nick Bosa had 10 sacks as a rookie. Look at what Nick Bosa just got paid. And he won the Defensive Player of the Year last year. You look at Chase Young. Chase Young only had about 7 or 8 sacks as a rookie for the Washington then Redskins, now the Washington Commanders. So that's what you're going to be fighting as a high draft pick. I'm not going to go and completely dump on the guy. It's his first game. I hope that he has a glorious Hall of Fame career. I'm not going to be one of those fans that, you know what, because you didn't come out in your first career game and look like the second coming of Bruce Smith or Lawrence Taylor and go ahead and dump on the guy. I'm not going to do that because we look at Mario Williams for the Houston Texans. His rookie year was so-so. And then guess what? Mario Williams wound up being one of the best pass rushers in the league at the time. I'm not going to go and dump on a guy completely. It is what it is. It was one game. Who knows what's going to happen for the rest of the season? Who knows what's going to happen for the rest of his career? So I'm going to sit back and wait before I just make my automatic assessment of it.
Former Oakland Raider Stanford ROUTT is with us. He does the Believe in Raiders podcast with Dennis Ackerman. Can you understand why they went to West Virginia to work this week? I was just trying to look up elevation. I'm like, well, maybe the thinner air, it'll be better shape. And then I was like, wait, Vegas is about the same elevation as Greenbrier in West Virginia, so it's not that. Like, why are they doing this? And by the way, did you ever do this where you had some extended stay over where you tried to cut down on travel in between games?
Well, for one, to answer your question, no. And it's so crazy because the same early season game, so the same early season schedule that the Raiders have right now, we had that in 2011.
Okay.
I remember distinctly Denver Broncos Monday Night Football, and then we played the Buffalo Bills the following Sunday. And mind you, remember, we're going back to Oakland. We're not just going to Vegas, which is West Coast, but not as far west as the Bay Area. So, no, I've never done that. I don't know why they're in West Virginia. I would imagine maybe they just don't want to be in Buffalo for an entire week. Guys, I've been to Buffalo, and trust me, it ain't nothing up there but the Buffalo Bills. Okay. That's it. So maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe Mark Davis, maybe he has a winery or something like that in Greenbrier. Who knows?
It's unexplainable.
But yeah, no, I know the
so
Houston
weird.
Texans have had training camp in Greenbrier, so maybe there's some sort of special facility out there, some really nice ones. Who knows? I have no idea. I'm not inside those four walls, but to answer your question, no, I've never been a part of that, but that's now the theme for a lot of teams, that if you have two back-to-back away games, instead of going back to your home city, they just pretty much kind of stay in between. That way it doesn't cut down on as much travel, and also you're able to get acclimated to that area or that time zone that you're going to be playing.
We're very tight here, like 15 seconds. Give me a prediction on the game against the Bills.
Man, my heart says the Raiders are going to win, but my head is saying the Buffalo is going to come out for blood after the loss to New York the other night.